Hello and welcome to my review of the Adeptus Mechanicus Cerberus Sulphur Hounds. This box set will set you back £35. It's a fair amount of money, but if you've already seen my Cerberus Raiders review, you probably will have witnessed that it is worth the asking price and it's a very decent kit. The strongest kit in the new lineup, I would go as far as to say. We'll look at the details of the model, I'll show you the spare parts, we'll look at the size comparisons, and then we'll take an in-depth look and pulling apart of all the rules for this unit. The first thing I'd like to say is the differences between these and the Cerberus Raiders. Now this unit is a very much more in-your-face, up-close and personal unit than the Raiders. You know, they're not equipped with those galvanic rifles, the 18-inch assault weapons. They are instead equipped with these really cool looking phosphor pistols. There's something about people on horseback, or in this case houndback, with akimbo pistols that I really like the look of. It's kind of like Red Dead Redemption in the 41st millennium, with a bit of steampunk thrown in, with a little bit of the cartoon Brave Star that had a mechanical type horse in it. Really love the aesthetics of these, and we're going to have a look at them in a moment. And the other main difference is, of course, the hounds themselves have these flamers on the front, so they shoot out flames, and that comes at a cost. They don't get the Eye of Cerberus rule where they can single out characters, and that's a cost you're going to have to weigh up when you're building an army and you're deciding whether to choose these or the Raiders, because if there are specific characters that are quite high points cost, it's better to go for the Raiders. But if there's a big HQ unit like a Tyrannid army or something, and it's got a big HQ unit and you don't, and it's well protected, and you'd rather have these contest objective points or burn out a load of horde units, then these are probably the ones to go for, especially as they ignore the cover saves with the phosphor weapons. So let's have a look at the models straight away before I go off on a huge tangent. So this is the Sulphur Hound Alpha. Really cool looking. It's got this plume on the top of his helmet. All the helmets look reminiscent to the Skitarii Vanguard models, which kind of lower the toughness of other models because of the radiation, the radium, the weapons that they've got. But in all intents and purposes, the Hound itself is exactly the same as the Raider. Here is a Raider right now, exactly the same except for the head and the pouches or holsters that are at the front of the Hound. The backpacks are the same, except they don't have this extra antenna, and the helmets are different, but the cloaks and the arms are the same too. This one's equipped with this power maul and a phosphor blaster pistol. I think it's just one extra strength than the normal ones. But yeah, that's the Alpha. This is a really cool model here with the two phosphor pistols, with the holsters at the front. Yeah, looks amazing. Really like this one. And then finally this one with this phosphor carbine looks a brilliant weapon. It's like a multi-barreled rifle thing. Yeah, really cool. Got this bigger kind of front helmet thing going on. So yeah, lovely looking miniatures. Really a big fan of these. Let's have a look at the spare parts though. So here are all the spare parts. Just dump them here. A little Skitarii graveyard thing going on. As you'd expect, you'd have all the galvanic rifles from the Raiders, a fair number of them, and their sabres with in the sheaths. You've got some Marchio pistols as well, and you've even got a sabre from the Raider, and you've got a fair few heads still for the Sulphur Hounds. So you do get a decent number of heads. You even get these too, which don't have hoods on. Well, this one has a hood, but this one doesn't have a hood or a helmet on, which is quite odd. And yeah, you get the antennas from the power plants, or power packs, and then you get these different type sort of throat appendages that would normally go there. Instead, you've got the Sulphur Hound hooked up to this flamer tank. I think it fuels the mouth itself with the fuel, you know, and so that's where it comes from, and that is different to the Raiders. So there are enough aesthetics differences to warrant buying this same kit twice, and there's not many kits that I can say that. The Thoraxi, no. The wings are the same, the legs are the same, the only difference is the helmets and the weapons. This, there are more differences, big time, because there's all more different types of customization, and there's just more differences in general. The biggest similarity is just the poses that the Sulphur Hounds are in. Anyway, moving the spare parts aside, let's go on and have a look at some size comparisons. So I already did a comparison there with the two alphas. They all look really cool together. You know, you get sort of 6 of them. If you've got 6 of them there, you know, all riding out, looks amazing. You know, you have 9 of them next, and yeah, it's like a cavalry charge thing going on, but in the 41st millennium. Really, really cool looking models. So they are the same size as the Raiders, of course. Next to a normal Scutari Ranger, they are sort of double the size because they are on the Hounds. Comparing them to a Tech Priest, again, they are a little bit taller. But then when you start comparing them to the Dominus and the Manipulus, the lines get a bit blurry because of their axes, and their staffs are overall taller than the models on horseback. I didn't do a size comparison with the Scorpius with the Raiders, so I'll just do one here. It's a fairly big tank actually, but they look pretty cool next to it. And no doubt the Dune Rider would look equally amazing with some Scutari coming out, or even these coming off of it. I don't think that's allowed, but still, yeah, really cool. Still fits with the aesthetics. And finally, the last 3 size comparisons I like to make always is just having a Legacy Space Marine there on the left, Slight Marbo, and then a Primaris Space Marine. So as you can see, they're taller than even the largest Space Marines that are available. Okay, and now this is my part of the review where I will go through all of the rules for the Cerberus Sulphur Hounds. There are some differences with these to the Raiders, which I will touch upon. You can find the rules for the Sulphur Hounds in the brand new Psychic Awakening Engine War book that only recently came out. They are the second choice, and they're a fast attack choice, and I said in my Raiders review, it's nice to see Adeptus Mechanicus getting no less than 4 different unique fast attack choices added to their original 2, so they've now got 6 fast attack choices. Amazing, and then that's not really including the new flyer, the Archaeopter. So the Cerberus Sulphur Hounds, they are a little bit more pricier than the Raiders. They're a power points cost of a 3, and they're a match play points cost of 16 as opposed to the 14. They're equipped with the phosphor pistols, which you are going to have to pay points for, but luckily they're only 1 point per pistol. All of them are equipped with 2 of them, so that's an extra 2 points, so that's 18 points. The Sulphur Breath though is free, so it is a straight up 18 points per model because the clawed limbs don't cost anything. However, the Phosphor Blast pistol is 5 points for the Alpha, and the Power Maul is 4 points, so the Alpha is getting quite pricey there. So their stat line reads exactly the same as the Cerberus Raiders. They're a movement of 12 inches, weapon skill of 4+, ballistic skill of 3+, strength and toughness of both 3, 3 wounds, 1 attack, leadership 6, and a save of 4+, with the Alpha getting an extra attack at attacks 2 and a better leadership at leadership 7. The unit contains 1 Cerberus Sulphur Hound Alpha and 2 Cerberus Sulphur Hounds. It can additionally contain up to 3 Cerberus Sulphur Hounds with a power rating of +3, or up to 6 Cerberus Sulphur Hounds with a power rating of +6. Cerberus Sulphur Hound Alpha is equipped with Phosphor Blast Pistol, Sulphur Breath, Clawed Limbs and Power Maul, and every Cerberus Sulphur Hound is equipped with 2 Phosphor Pistols, Sulphur Breath and Clawed Limbs. So exactly the same stat line there as the Raiders. All that differs is their weapons. So let's start off by taking a look at these phosphor pistols. You know, the galvanic carbines, I think I call them rifles, so I apologise, but that is a pistol. You know, it's only a 12-inch range, so it's an only effective range of 24 inches. That drops down to 20 inches with the Sulphur Breath, but it's a strength 4, AP -1 and a damage of 1, and when resolving an attack made with the weapon, the target does not receive the benefit of cover. That's the main reason you get them, for the AP of -1 and the fact that the enemy doesn't get a cover save, but still short range at 24 compared to the Raiders, which is effective range of 30. Now the Sulphur Breath, that they all have is a range of 8 inches. It's a pistol D6, strength 4, AP -1 and a damage of 1. And when resolving an attack made with the weapon, you don't make a hit roll, automatically scores a hit. And in addition, the target does not receive the benefit of cover. So it's a flamer, but with the pistol rule and the phosphor rule in terms of they don't get cover, and it's still a nice AP -1. The Alpha's Phosphor Blast pistol is exactly the same as the normal Phosphor pistol, except it's a strength 5, like I said earlier. For every 3 models in the unit, 1 Cerberus Sulphur Hound can be equipped with a Phosphor Blast carbine instead of 1 Phosphor pistol. So this Phosphor Blast carbine is pretty juicy. It's a range 24 inches and it's a Assault 4, so you've now got an effective range of 36 inches, which ironically means that the Sulphur Hounds, they have a weapon there that is longer range than any of the Raiders' weapons, which I find hilarious. It's a strength 5, AP -1 and a damage of 1. Again, when resolving an attack made with the weapon, target does not receive the benefit of cover. So it's like the Phosphor Blast pistol, but double the range, 3 more shots, and the same profile. Now they're melee weapons. You've got the clawed limbs, which work just the same as the Raiders, which is +1 strength, so that'll be strength 4, AP 0 and a damage of 1, and when the bearer fights it makes 2 additional attacks with the weapon. And then the Power Maul, which is what the Alpha is equipped with, strength +2, so that's strength 5, AP -1 and a damage of 1. That's alright, but you only got 2 attacks with it, and the weapon skill is 4+, so you may not even connect with one of those attacks. Abilities: Canticles of the Omnissiah, Pistoliers. This is one of the main reasons you'd get them. You can choose to fire pistol weapons. Models in this unit are equipped with it's very poor writing, even if this unit advanced this turn. So that's nice, you know, you can move, and that kind of negates their short range. You know, effective range of 24 inches, but they can still advance, and they can still fire if they advance with no penalty, which is amazing. Usually with Cognis weapons you get a penalty, but these Pistoliers, they can still fire and advance, but only with the pistol weapons. So if you equip them like this, only the Alpha can fire his 1 shot, and then you've got 2 shots there. So whoop-de-doo, you're getting three shots. The other abilities, while you take them, is Rad Saturation. Subtract 1 from the toughness characteristic of enemy units without the vehicle keyword, whilst they are within 1 inch of any units from your army with this ability. So that's nice, but they have to be basically in close combat within that 1 inch rule, so you have to get them really close to lower the wound. So I guess if you had these run up and assault a unit, and then you have another unit run in, like Castellan Robots or the Breachers or the Ruststalkers or something like that, run in and assault as well, that's where it's going to pay off. If it doesn't pay off, these guys are going to get crushed because they've only got toughness 3, they've only got 1 attack each except for the Alpha, and they don't have any decent melee weapons, much like the Raiders, which all of them have the cavalry sabres. I'm quite surprised with that they don't have like a Phosphor Maul, or they all don't have Power Mauls, or, you know, that's where they're lacking. They do have bionics though, so they have a 6+ invulnerable save, exactly the same as the Raiders. The keywords is Imperium, Adeptus Mechanicus, Scutari, Forge World, Cavalry, Cerberus, Sulphur Hounds. So there you go. In games terms, I believe that the Raiders are more useful and are cheap and give you more value for the points that you pay for them. They can whiz about the board, firing off those 2-shot 18-inch carbines, and target characters and inflict the mortal wounds. These guys have the Sulphur Breath, which is nice, but you've got to get in close for both the Sulphur Breath and the Phosphor Pistols, but in getting close, they're not really going to be that good in close combat. It's really odd, this unit, because their rules suggest you need to get in close, but then they've got nothing to counter if they get assaulted. It's a really odd unit. I think they look cool, probably cooler than the Raiders if I had to pick one of them on the cutting room floor. But in game terms, I think the Raiders are more useful and a better use of your points. But these look cooler, in my opinion. But what do you guys think though? Please do put all your thoughts and opinions of these Cerberus Sulphur Hounds down below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Omnissiah protects.